This is a Tubi movie, but with white people, so stick through it with me, y'all. The story starts with Emma, the only woman in a vehicle, being taken advantage of by Sean and his friend. Years later, after she's married, Joe, a chatty driver, drives her to a remote, high-end rental. Why she look like she's sniffing a fart? She writes in her notebook, and when they get to her destination, Joe helps her with her luggage and they introduce themselves. He asks her for a tip, but not the nasty kind y'all thinking about. He looks keenly at her screen while she sends him the payment. After he leaves, Emma double-checks all the locks, the food supplies, and the landline before carrying her luggage into the house. She unpacks and notices that she left her notebook. Later that evening, while taking a bath, she hears a sound and goes outside, only to see a dozen roses and a note at her doorstep. She takes them in and reads the note, thinking it's from her husband, so she locks the door and enjoys her music. While at it, she spills the wine and quickly cleans the mess. The wine seems to be seeping into the cabinet. Curious, she checks under the kitchen bar, her phone rings, and she finds her husband, Henry Barrett, outside. She is surprised because he had planned to show up the following day. She welcomes him, and he tells her he couldn't wait to enjoy their snowball-kissing weekend. He settles in with her, and she complains about losing her notebook, so he reminds her that he always told her to use a laptop. Henry tries to initiate some back-breaking activities, but she refuses. So out of frustration, he leaves and asks for a glass of whiskey. She pours him a glass, and they both share the drink. Shortly after, she tries to plug in her phone, but her eyes start spinning, so Henry puts her to bed. He too loses his balance and quickly joins her. Later that night, a person creeps in with a box, cuts Emma's dress, takes her measurements, and sews her a dress. Roofing someone to sew a custom dress is crazy work. The next morning, Emma wakes up and sees a rose on the shelf with 2 cups of coffee. She immediately hugs Henry, thinking he's the one who did it. But when she checks her dress, she wakes him up, asking if he was the one who put on her dress. Learning that he wasn't, Emma panics as she realizes that someone else must have gotten into the house. Henry reads the note saying happy anniversary. He calms Emma down and informs her that he didn't send her any flowers the previous day. They look for their phones and check the closet, only to realize that their clothes have been changed. Quickly, they rush to the vehicle to leave, but the keys that he stupidly left in the car isn't there. Suddenly, Emma notices someone behind the trees and informs Henry, and he tells her to get inside and lock the doors. She rushes to the telephone to try to call for help, but a thick, unfamiliar voice orders her to obey them. Immediately, the TVs in the house show her live CCTV footage. Henry comes back a few seconds later, bloodied after being jumped outside. He orders her to set the alarm, and as he moves around the house, the telephone rings. He picks it up, and the same voice from earlier commands the couple to obey them, warning them not to leave the house. The voice tells them that it's aware of what they did and that they'll only be free to go if they listen. Immediately, the security system shuts all the doors and windows, trapping them inside. They try looking for an exit, and in the process, Emma picks up a chair to break a window, but her ear painfully rings, shocking her in the process. Henry checks it out and sees a hidden implant. The voice then booms, reminding them that they should obey if they want to be safe. Henry experiences the same thing when he tries to destroy one of the cameras. The voice then orders them to go to the bedroom. On their way, it tells Henry to open the door for Emma, and Emma should smile and thank him in reciprocation. They enter the room, and the voice orders them to clean themselves. After they do as they are told, the voice orders Henry to hand Emma a gift from a drawer. He does as instructed, and she sees that it's from one of the poetry books she has at home. Henry whispers to Emma, assuring her that he'll get them out, but the voice orders Emma to cook for Henry. When Emma tries to open the door, the voice zaps her saying she a trad wife now, so Henry opens the door for them. While Emma prepares dinner, the voice orders Henry to get a laptop from a drawer. He obeys, and once he opens the folder as instructed, he learns of Emma's affair. Oh, she trifling. He reads the text and then is forced to watch a video of Emma sleeping in bed with a man that kinda looks like himself, but isn't. Henry throws a fit, but the voice orders him to stop, telling him he will spend time with Emma as husband and wife since it's their anniversary. During dinner, the voice orders Henry to compliment Emma's cooking. Forced, Henry does as he's told, but then asks her who she's been sleeping with. She opens up that it was Ryan Sullivan, the whitest name ever. Betrayed, Henry yells at her, saying it was the reason she always pulled away from him. Emma apologizes and says the affair is over, but he angrily goes to the room. Emma shows up later, and the voice plays their wedding video before ordering the couple to dance. Henry refuses at first, but then dances after being shocked, as the voice commands him to kiss her, and he grudgingly obeys. Afterwards, it tells Emma to tell Henry she loves him, and she obeys. The voice orders them on another level, telling Henry to eat her salad. At first, Henry grudgingly accepts, but he changes his mind as he smells up the used-up pastrami, and as a result, the implant kicks in, shocking him painfully until he bleeds. Later, Emma cleans his wound, and Henry apologizes, saying he's losing control in all aspects of his life. He asks her why she didn't tell him to stop when he tried to sleep with her, but she opens up about her past when she was raped. Henry assures her that nothing like that would happen again, and they later go back to bed. As the voice addresses them, Joe cuts in, saying he came to return Emma's notebook. They flash him lights through the door, signaling for his help, and as he tries to get into the compound, a masked man bludgeons his head before dragging him off. They fall into despair, but Emma suspects that the masked person who dragged Joe was the owner of the voice speaking to them, so she tests her hypothesis by reaching for the camera. After she successfully disconnects it, she rushes under the table and tells Henry about a crawl space she noticed. They successfully find the spot, and since her body T, she crawls into it despite Henry's warning about how dangerous her action is. Moments later, the masked man attacks Henry and drags Emma out. Her implant immediately activates, and he injects her with Ozempic, causing her to pass out. Later, they find themselves back in their room and notice someone tied to a chair in the living room, so they head there. Upon getting there, they realize it's Ryan. He wakes up and begs them to get him out, but Henry gets mad at him for sleeping with his wife. The tension rises to the point that Henry grabs a kitchen knife to stab him, but the voice orders him to have Emma do it instead. Emma refuses, but Henry's implant goes off, electrocuting him continuously. The voice then tells her to stab Ryan if she wants to save Henry. Left with no choice, Emma stabs Ryan, killing him in the process. Later, Henry consoles Emma in the room, and before he leaves to get Ryan out of the living room, he offers Emma a glass of whiskey. Devastated, Emma realizes the alcohol was spiked. She mimics drinking from her glass and pours it out on the rug. She then lies down pretending to sleep and waits as the masked man shows up to check if she's asleep. After he leaves, she looks for Henry, but on her way, she sees a wardrobe that was previously locked when she came into the house. This time it's open, so she walks inside. Behind it, she finds a 50s-style lair and learns about the Eden Group, a cult aiming to restore traditional household roles. There's even a black couple with the wife hypnotized into obeying her commands. After learning about the cult, she checks their folder on the computer and realizes that Henry wasn't a victim of any of the circumstances they faced so far. Instead, he is a culprit. He never drank any of the whiskey, and he even joined the masked man in tying Ryan up. Emma breaks down as she learns the truth, and as she watches the men dispose of Ryan's body, the CCTV alarm goes off, so she rushes out of the room and takes a key on her way out. She quickly goes back to the same spot and pretends as if she never left. When the men get to her, the masked man informs Henry that they have footage of Emma killing someone, so he can use it against her, and as promised, she will be obedient to him. This is doing way too much for someone who didn't want you. After that, Henry carries her into the car. He hugs her unconscious body, saying everything will soon be over, then closes the door. The masked man hands him the keys to his car, but Henry sees the keys and tells him they aren't his. Confused, the man goes into the house, and Henry follows him. After they leave, Emma gets up and goes to the driver's seat to start the vehicle and escape. But she remembers the implant, so she uses the key to forcefully rip it out. In her attempt to get out of the place, the masked man shows up, interrupting her, so she hits him and runs out of the car into the citrus field. He runs after her, and in the process, she falls. He then tries to use his watch to control the implant, but nothing happens, so he picks up a rock and chases her. In her bid to escape, she sees a shovel, so she lures him and kills him with it. She then recovers the car keys and takes his watch. Suddenly, Henry appears behind her, so she runs to him, playing dumb and informing him that she woke up in the car. She shows him the keys she found in the man's pocket and reminds him that they are going home together. As they head back to the car, Henry sees blood behind Emma's ear, so he stops her from getting in, saying they should first get their stuff out of the house. She then asks him to go and get it while she waits outside, but he disagrees, informing her that outside is too dangerous for her. They both go inside, and on their way, Emma keeps her guard up. Once inside, she activates the implants with the watch, but sees that he has removed his. Henry immediately lunges at her. And Lord, the way he bodied her! Let's play that on repeat. Then hits her multiple times, but she fights back with the knife she got from his pocket. She then rushes to the kitchen, but trips him with a stool. As she reaches for the whiskey bottle, Henry stabs her. Still, she smashes the bottle on his head and hurries to the hidden lair. There, she grabs the implant gun and hides behind a wall, but he shows up and attacks her. She immediately uses the gun to implant a device in his neck, but he smacks her to the ground. And as she tries to activate the device with the watch, he steps on her hand, yelling at her to do as he says. He then grabs the implant gun and says he'll kill her. Quickly, Emma folds, telling him that she loves him and that she belongs to him. As she assures him that she'll do whatever he wants, he lets his guard down, so she turns to face him and uses the smartwatch to activate the implant in his ear. He immediately falls to the ground, writhing in pain, but Emma maxes out the device and drops her wedding ring on the table before leaving. By morning, she drives out of the vicinity but sees Joe injured behind his smashed car, so she stops and rescues him. As she drives off with him, he thanks her, calling her Mrs. Barrett, as she had earlier introduced herself, but Emma corrects him, telling him to call her Emma. And the movie ends with her face, looking like she smelled a fart. A crazy twist, but I honestly saw that coming. Did y'all like this one? Let me know if we should cover white Tubi films.
If you like this video, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. We got lots more of foolishness on this channel that'll have you hollering. And if you like to watch more, just click here or here.